Hi everyone, happy Saturday. Welcome back to our daily clues by Sam. We have another hard one today. Does that mean that tomorrow we have an evil one? Let's stay tuned for that. But today we're gonna play this game, and if you don't know what it is a daily logic puzzle game, and there is 20 people on it. Each of them must be an innocent or a criminal, and you gotta figure the role of each person using the clues that they themselves might give you. So the puzzle increases in difficulty along the week, which means that during the weekends we have the most fun, and you're welcome to try playing as well. If you want to do so and you never did, then there is a link in the description to take you to 2 days, and you can play it along with me because I'm going to start mine right now and I'm going to explain my logic as I go. Let's start. We start with Ruby telling us that Wally is one of 3 innocents in column B. So Wally is an innocent. Column B has 5 people, so 2 more innocents and 2 criminals. Now Wally says that only one of the 2 criminals below Chloe. So Chloe is also in column B, and both criminals in that column are below her, so that means that Chloe herself is an innocent. And the rest of the clue says that only one of those 2 is Nicole's neighbor. So Nicole has to be one of those criminals, right? Because the other people below Chloe who neighbor Nicole are the only ones left. So Nicole has to be one of those criminals, and that means that Julie or Steve are the final criminal in column B, while the other one is an innocent. Now, I haven't read Chloe's clue, I've read Wally's and Ruby's. Now, Nicole says that row 2 is the only row with exactly 1 innocent. Okay. And Chloe says that exactly 1 innocent in row 2 is neighboring Olga. So, row 2 is here. Olga is in row 3 and she has 3 people neighboring her in row 2. But we know that row 2 has only 1 innocent, right? And that innocent neighbors Olga, so the person in row 2 that doesn't neighbor Olga couldn't be an innocent. That means that Ivan is a criminal. And now Ivan says that only one of the 4 criminals neighboring Nicole is in row 3. So Nicole herself is in row 3, and one of the people that neighbor her in that row is an innocent. The other one is a criminal, since she has 2 people neighboring her in that row. And since row 3 can have 1 innocent only, that means that Peter is another innocent in that row. But we also know about Nicole's neighbors now. She has 1 criminal neighbor here who's Ivan. She's gonna have a second one who's either Max or Olga, and she's gonna have a third one who's either Julie or Steve. So she needs a 4th one to make 4 criminals total, and that has to be either Clay or Tina. And now we have a lot of colors here. Peter now says there are exactly 2 criminals in row 4. Okay. How do we go about that? That means that there's 2 innocents as well. But we don't know. We don't know. Do we know? Something about Olga's neighbor? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's say that Steve is an innocent. That will make Julie a criminal, right? But it could be that Clay is also a criminal and Tina an innocent. Oh, it couldn't, actually. Because now row 4 has 3 innocents and only 1 possible criminal. But there has to be 2 criminals in row 4 according to Peter. So we know for sure that it could be the opposite scenario, Steve or Tina. Could be both criminals. But if that were the scenario, then there's 2 innocents in row 2. And we know for sure that there couldn't be 2 innocents in row 2. So these guys are one or the other as well. Oh, we're running out of colors here. But you get the gist of it, right? These are one or the other, and these are one or the other. And since there's only 1 criminal here, then Uma has to be the second criminal in row 4. And we also know that the single innocent in row 2 is gonna either be Julie or Clay. So that means that Luigi is a criminal as well. And now we have 2 new people giving us clues. So, Uma now says there are exactly 3 innocents below Frank. The whole carnival of colors here tells us that there is one instant below Frank who's either Tina or Clay. So in order for there to be 3, then all of the people who are neither of these two have to be instant, since there's 4 people total below Frank, right? So both Olga and Zaya are instants. Now, Luigi's clue. Actually, Olga being an instant makes Max a criminal. So let's keep up with our tags, at least, since there's so many of them. Luigi now says that there are exactly 3 instants in row 1. Okay, let's keep that in mind. Olga says there's an equal number of criminals in rows 1 and 5. So 1 criminal in row 5 makes Vicky. And what color have I not used yet? Vicky and Zach, one a criminal, the other one an instant. Why? Because there's 3 instants in row 1, which means there's only 1 criminal in row 1, and that means there has to be only 1 criminal in row 5 too. Zaya says there are more criminals in column B than column C, and we know the total of criminals in column B, that's 2. So that means that column C could at most have 1 criminal, and it is gonna have 1 who is Tina or Clay. So Frank couldn't be a criminal, otherwise column B and column C would have the same number of criminals. Frank now says there's an odd now we know that Austin and Hank are one a criminal, the other one an instant. Frank says there's an odd number of instants neighboring Wally. Wally is gonna have a 3rd instant. He has 1 ruby, 2 Zaya. He's gonna have a 3rd one who's either Steve or Tina, so that's her odd number. If Wally were to have Vicky as an instant neighbor as well, then he would have an even number, 4. So Vicky has to be a criminal. The clue is talking about instants, right? Yeah. So Vicky has to be a criminal. And that makes Zach an instant. Now Zach says that there's an equal number of instants in columns B and D. And we know that column B has 3 instants, so column D has to have 3 as well, and the 3rd one could only be Hank, which makes Austin a criminal. Austin is giving Hank's giving us a clue, but Austin isn't. Hank says that only 1 person in a corner has exactly 1 instant neighbor. Well, that's not Vicky for sure, but it could be Austin, Hank, or Zach. How is that gonna work? If Clay is an instant, how is that gonna work? That makes Julie a criminal. And that makes Tina a criminal. And Steve an instant. Now, who is the only person in a corner that has 1 instant neighbor only? It isn't Hank. It is Zach. But it's also Austin. So that doesn't work. If Clay, on the other hand, is a criminal, that makes Julie an instant and Tina an instant, and that makes Steve a criminal. Now, who's the single person on a corner that has 1 instant? Is it Hank? Zach has 2, Vicky has 2, Austin has 2, so it is Hank, which means that Clay has to be a criminal, and everybody else is already solved as well. And we are done. A hard one on a Saturday in less than 8 minutes. That's really good. I like it. I'm enjoying these last ones. I think I'm doing pretty good after my whole fiasco of a week getting yellows. So yeah, a nice Saturday one with fast logic, and I didn't read any of the flavor texts. I never do read those. Okay, so today's isn't themed, but it was a nice one anyway, and I'll leave this video here. Don't forget that we are playing Heartrees later today on stream. If you want to join, you're welcome to do so and have a little chat and maybe see me suffer through puzzles live. And I'll see you tomorrow again for more Clues by Sam. So see you then. Bye bye.